and whatnot. Here's a look at the the guy the caster that just doesn't get a vote when it's Flash. It's so funny.
Well, Kanata, the only one who has faith in Flash otherwise. The rest of us say INnoVation. This is a tough one to call, though. I had to think about it a little bit, but I still give the favorite INnoVation. He's just, even though he's had rough times recently, just overall more consistent than Flash in Pro League.
Yeah.
And he's got great TVT practice partners to work with, whereas Flash, he's got TY. TY has had the best TVT track record.
Yeah, TY. I mean, yeah.
Like, TY's lost to Guilty in the past in TVTs.
Definitely not the best TVT practice partners in that house.
Yeah.
And we've kind of seen that as well in Flash's play. But it should still be a pretty interesting one. You don't normally get to see these players play against each other.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique matchup that we're seeing here. Flash always is like everyone's favorite to, is he going to make Codes this time? Is this his season? Is he going to go far? And Flash has just not lived up to his name in Starcraft 2. I mean, he's always, his popularity has been strong. He's never lost popularity. But I feel like there's always, everyone is wondering, is he ever going to really become dominant like some of these other Terran players?
Yeah, he may have, just passed his heyday. He just doesn't find the wins that he used to.
Yeah.
And it's a different kind of game. It's not a game where you have to be like a mechanical god like in Brood War. You actually have to do other stuff. You got to think a little bit more outside the box or play these cleaner games, but he just hasn't found it yet. Maybe one day, StarCraft 2 will get to that stage, but
that's what everyone's hoping for, right? That he's going to make it in StarCraft 2. Like he will become the Bonjour, the best Terran player. But right now it's Maru, man, who's actually proven to be consistently the best Terran player in the world.
Yeah, very easily. Yeah, he is really a whole nother level, and it's more about his maneuvering and his micro and his decision making more than his just like godly mechanics or anything like that. It's just the way that StarCraft 2 is.
Yeah, in StarCraft 2, mechanics are not difficult. You don't actually have to hit 3 twice and jump back to a bunch of factories, then click V, click V, click V, click V, click V to make a bunch of vultures. You don't actually have to do that in StarCraft 2. You hit your factory hotkey and you make some siege tanks. Well, you don't really do that in StarCraft 2 because mech's not that viable all the time. But even when you do play mech, which Flash does every now and then in TVZ, you've got that multiple building selection. We've got mules. You don't have to worry as much.
Well, one other thing to think about is that as we say this about Flash, INnoVation is the exact same sort of type of player. He's a hardcore mechanical player from Brood War, and he does have that same philosophy that Flash does, which is why we've kind of seen him falter, because he gets too figured out. Like, everyone just knows what he's going to do. He always does the same thing. And it's powerful if he's allowed to do it, but people can just hard counter it a lot of the time. So when these two players go head-to-head is kind of an exciting thing, because it's just going to be these two macro crazy people colliding.
Yeah.
Hopefully both mech.
Hopefully both mech. That would be fun. Bio versus mech also fun. Bio tank versus mech is fun. 2 mech is like, it's a slow, patient matchup where that's my favorite matchup to cast is actually not just TVT. TVT has always been my favorite matchup to cast, but TVT with mech versus mech is like, it's like watching a slow chess game and seeing the positioning that they do in the constant scanning. It's like, imagine you're playing chess, but you and your opponent are moving at the same time, and you can't see his pieces unless you scan or make a sensor tower.
Or have air control. Lots of different factors come into it, but yeah, it is a lot of fun to see when it gets to that stage. But we'll see.
Anything could happen. I mean, Banshees are really popular in TVT right now. We could just have like one Banshee player get so ahead that the rest of the game doesn't matter. We've seen that a lot in recent TVTs.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to think of how these players would do that. I don't know if they're like Dream or Maru are the kind of players that will just use Banshees again and again the whole game, especially Maru. He just loves his Banshee play, and he'll just win the game off the back of these like ridiculous Banshee harassments.
Yeah, even delayed Banshees. Sometimes we see like Maru go Raven first and then like add Cloak later and come in and surprise you with some Banshees that do a lot of damage. We've seen that a lot. So.
Oh, yeah. But these guys, they are a different kind of Terran. Like, I wonder if they would really want to go to that stage where they're just being constant harassing, or they're going to go for that defensive sort of mech style or even Marine tank style.
Well, Flash is the type of player to play a bit turly, a bit defensive. Flash is also one of the types of players that's famous for delaying Pro League. As I look in the lobby, he's the one who's not in there.
That is delaying us as per usual.
Yeah, I'm sure the Korean commentators are making jokes about that right now too, because Flash has actually gotten in trouble in the past for taking too long to set up. So
this would be one of these days, I hope, as well. It's actually it's quite surprising.
Yeah, well, he's had plenty of time. Plus, we've just cast another game. Okay, he's in the lobby now. It looks like. Oh no, he's not.
No, he's not, mate. Oh, well.
That's someone else just chatting, so.
Sooner or later, it'll happen. Till then, we'll talk about these two players and their mechanical styles.
Sure. Just to give you guys an update in the chat, the observer says that there's a problem with his settings, and it'll take about 2 minutes to resolve.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, Flash is the turtley type, right? He's the type to try to get the faster third CC and sit back and defend. He's not going to do that aggressive timing attack in most cases where you do the Siege Tank Marine push with like an early Viking or two in that Raven. Probably not going to see Flash doing that.
No, probably not. I can imagine both these players are actually going for CC first and just playing that macro game from there.
Absolutely high chance of that.
Especially on Deadwing, you know, it is such a big map.
Yeah, and, you know, it's even bigger if you end up getting cross spawns. It's just like you're going to take forever to get across.
Well, because there is more than one spot to scout as well in positions, like it does give you that extra breathing space. Finally, we get to introduce these players.
All right, well, INnoVation is 9-4, 3-1 versus Terran. It's that consistency over Flash that he has with that 9-4, even though he has that sideways arrow. I think the only one who has been given that arrow out of all these players, but it's 6-5 record versus Flash.
Yeah, kind of strange that he does have that sideways arrow, but I guess he just hasn't been performing like he used to. He was the guy at the start of this season just leading the way as well. Like, he was #1 for quite some time. Beat Bravo in his last Pro League match. This is a TVT. And he's coming off a win. See if he can keep that going against someone like Flash.
All right, Flash is ready. He's in the lobby. He's 6-9. So he's got a negative record. He's 1-3 versus Terran in Pro League. He has shown some great TVTs outside of Pro League and individual leagues. We've seen it in like Code A. He's like adjusting his chair. Did you see he adjusted his chair height slightly?
I saw that.
It's not exact. Oh, look at it. Oh, I actually changed mine. He's like, I want it up a little bit higher, actually. And the ruler's coming out. He's like, oh, no, his chair is like still a little bit. Look at this. Look at this. It's got a little bit. He's like, no, it's actually 2 centimeters too high. Let me tap that one more time.
Use the ruler for his chair height.
We just saw him use a ruler for his chair height.
He lost to MMA, actually, in his last Pro League match. So that's a pretty big loss to come off. MMA has been playing great in this matchup.
Yeah.
Got knocked out by Dream and Kodas as well. Twice. He lost. Oh,
yeah.
Actually beat Dream the first time, lost the second time. There we go. But still, you know, Dream could probably give him a few tips about how Flash is playing in those matches.
Oh, absolutely so, Moonglade. Let's jump into this. INnoVation versus Flash. Terran versus Terran. Game number 2. Bottom right in red for SK Telecom, T1. It's INnoVation.
In the top right for KT, it is Flash.
God of RTS, as they call him. Well, we do have vertical spawns here, so a close by air rush distance for Banshees, drops, things of that nature.
Favoring Flash does the crowd, the public.
The popular vote goes to Flash.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder.
Well, let's wait and see. There's a high chance we'll see CC first from these guys just because of their playstyle, especially Flash. And on this map, you know, it's 50-50 chance you get that cross spawn. And even with the vertical spawns, it's longer than most maps, the rush distance. So, gonna see a gas first, though, from Flash.
Okay, we've seen that from Flash before, actually, recently. He has been adding that in, you know, getting the tech out just a little bit faster. And you know what I'm liking? Where INnoVation is putting his buildings.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do a Reaper Scout early on just based on that positioning.
Pretty sure he could block that off with one more supply depot as well, mind you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's sexy. I like that a lot.
That's pretty cool. Well, see if he ends up using that. High chance. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's right there. I believe one more building will block it off, and it will actually do great for his Reaper as well because it's going to get right down there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might just be for both reasons, right? So
yeah, double whammy right there. Flash not having any of that there with that gas fest.
INnoVation also scouts right away with the SCV. He doesn't touch the watchtower, but he's going to go up here, and we'll be able to find out right away that Flash is going for a gas first. So INnoVation going to come in here, see that, and isn't really going to need the Reaper anymore. So the fact that he's going to the Marine back at home makes sense.
All right, so he's simply just going straight into that earlier factory. Not going to be as early as Flash, but still early enough. And there's that Reaper from Flash as the follow-up to that factory.
So notice how this, I believe this depot blocks us off. Now the depot is going to block this so the Reaper can't jump. And the Marine's positioned in the exact other place he would want to jump. And the second Marine is going to be there as well. So you should be able to deny the Reaper on both fronts. And this is going to be very frustrating for Flash, who does commit that 50 gas. He takes his second gas as well, which does further lead towards a possible Cloak Banshee opening. Could get a Raven first, but
I think it has to be Banshee from this kind of early gas. But we'll see. He's going to add a second Reaper as well. Yeah, Hellion from one.
Yeah, I think he's going to regret that second Reaper when he sees this position of these Marines as well as that factory wall off.
Yeah, he's not going to find much at all.
That's unfortunate. Well, the only reason why I say he might just switch to Raven instead is because he knows his gas first have been scouted. And he's going to have a hard time scouting on his own with this Reaper, as you guys can see.
Well, INnoVation is getting ready to intercept, but it could maybe sneak up a side here. Going to go right up the ramp there.
Oh, one more shot would have done it.
6 HP.
He knew the exact timing as well. He had those Marines selected as the Reaper was coming in.
Just waiting for it.
Really cool.
Wouldn't mind, and yeah, looks like INnoVation's going to be the one starting off the Banshees. We're going to get him very similar timing there. So that gas vest not really giving much, but maybe he can find something with this second Reaper and a Hellion.
Gonna try for it. Okay, second Reaper comes in undetected. Will actually go down. Does see the tech lab though, so he got his job done. As soon as that happens, INnoVation decides to go Raven first. Back at home, Flash has decided to go Viking first.
Wow. Straight up countering each other.
Exactly. Oh, he's going to maybe try to run in here again. He's got 2 Hellions this time, but there is a Widow Mine. I'm not sure if he sees it.
I think he might have just hard to say.
He might also just be concerned about the Marines, too.
Yeah, well, it's never going to be a good fight because they're going up a ramp, and there's no advantage, no concave to hit. And I get the impression that Flash is going to be going for that mech after all. From INnoVation, I think the same. I think we're just going to see a mech vs mech. The dream is true.
The dream is real. And we actually have a CC a little bit safer for INnoVation actually on the high ground there, so slight advantage to Flash in that regard. He's going to be able to get his mining up a little bit faster, and also his gases, which are very important.
This is a very interesting sort of mech position as well in vertical spawns on Deadwing. They've only got one way to go, and that is up or down. There's no trickier positions to it. There's no outmaneuvering across the map. So it's going to be a pretty heated sort of tank battle, right in the middle there. Who gets the Zel Naga Tower and who can siege from there? Yeah.
If you try to avoid that location, you just have to go too far, and you're going to waste too much time. It's just simply not efficient. So second factory for INnoVation a lot later here, as well as, again, that CC is not in the location he'd like it to be, whereas Flash is already starting to get an advantage from that earlier mining that he gets at that base.
Yeah, pretty safe sort of play from INnoVation, actually. He's playing that very defensive style. Not even waiting for an orbital before he throws over the CC to the natural. Guess he wants to just maynard them over and start mining ASAP.
A Flash is going to go ahead and commit to air control first with the reactor on his starport. He's going double Viking production because I feel like he's already figured out that this is probably going to be a mech versus mech situation based off of his earlier Viking scout that he sent even. So for him, he's just thinking, okay, I'm just going to go into the air control early. I'm going to take a fast third CC. I'm going to turtle. And obviously, we have seen sometimes players who do try to take the air control like this and get a fast third CC don't have a large enough ground army to defend, and sometimes die to attack pushes.
Yeah, but look at this. Oh, maybe he needs to put down another supply depot there to stop that kind of thing from happening. A little bit of a mistake there. But we are seeing, triple Hellions being made from these two factories for INnoVation as well, so he's going to have that pretty scary sort of ground army to maybe catch out Flash if he's not sieged up. Yeah. There's not much that Flash has right now. He's got 2 tanks on the ground to defend.
Exactly.
That is not much at all.
This is the issue when you go for this heavy commitment to Vikings this early with a third CC. Your ground army is puny. And Vikings are not fighters, and if you don't land them immediately, they're just going to land after the fight's over and then die. We've seen that a lot, so you got to land those early if you're going to actually end up using those in the fight. Even if you do land them early, they're pretty weak. They're not meant to fight that way.
It's also going to, definitely be a fight for the air as well, as we just see a lot of Vikings coming out for INnoVation with that Raven as well. That's almost at full energy. This is going to be a pretty interesting, Hellion Viking versus Tank Viking sort of battle.
Lone Marine is going to go try to scout the third base. It looks like he's going to run into a Reaper, unfortunately. Sorry, Marine, that's not going to work out for you. Big push, though. So I was talking about, these Hellions are going to come over here and check, and they might even try to commit to an attack here.
Oh, they're going to run into a mine.
Oh, great split. That was cool.
I don't know how he could really engage into this, though. 3 tanks sieged up, plus a bunch of Hellions to buff with him.
Banshee doing some work, though, going to force these Vikings back at the very least. Already 5 kills, maybe 6. Nope, just going to be the 5.
5 still pretty good there. Maybe a little bit of a blunder, just not putting up a turret anytime. Just playing too confident because he does have those Vikings, but if they're out of position...
Uh-oh, he's going to run into Flash's better Viking count here. PDD comes down first, though, and auto turrets as well.
All right, I like that. He's actually going to win the fight, or at least push him back for now, but what can he really do from this? He's going to get a supply depot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, looks like he wants to try to fight this, but Flash has PDDs of his own.
This is a bad fight for INnoVation. I don't know what he's thinking here. He's going to get out.
So they're going to lose a Viking at least. Bit of a weird commitment there by INnoVation. I think he was trying to draw a big amount of attention to the main so he could actually harass the natural or the third base, but neither really ended up happening.
It's too easy to defend on this map, especially with siege tanks. This is the power of Deadwing, which is why we see a lot of Terrans on this map that love to go mech. Tanks can cover like 3 bases at once.
Slight miscontrol there. INnoVation will pause him as Viking, but Flash makes the same mistake. So a Viking, or rather a Raven for a Raven. And we're starting to see these factories powered up. Both players are on 3 bases, but faster gas for Flash, and that's what's really important here.
Yeah, and a massive tank lead as well for Flash. Just been making tanks this whole time, and INnoVation starting them late after so many Hellions were produced.
Yeah, and these Hellions just haven't done much. They've threatened a lot, but they haven't done the kill damage. Like
Here comes Flash.
Done SCV damage.
He's setting up outside that third base, maybe looking to take a 4th soon as well. But that is a lot of tanks already.
Yeah, he's got a good arc with them. They're spread out nicely. And if he can get that 4th base up right now, secure it for free, INnoVation is going to be hard-pressed to deal with that. He just doesn't have the force he needs to attack. He's at half the siege tanks at 3 to 6. And all those Hellions are just simply not going to be useful in a straight-up fight, especially against this position from Flash with those tanks that he spread them.
Yeah, he's got more than enough Hellions to kind of defend on his own as well. Like, they're going to do so much splash damage and just extra damage to the enemy Hellions. So it's kind of a waste of supply almost. It's really going to be focusing on tanks, Vikings, maybe a Raven again. Just go for that air control with tanks.
Flash has also sent 1 SCV to repair all the Vikings, and actually sending even a few more over here now to make the process a little bit faster, but he's going to have all of his Vikings back up to full health, which is important. Ooh, going into a watchtower, always a scary thing, and INnoVation's going to try to take advantage of it. Only gets 1 Hellion.
That is the one redeeming thing he does, INnoVation does have with this kind of army. He does have map control currently, and he does have that Xel'Naga tower, so it's going to make it just a little bit harder for Flash to come down the map and stop sieging up and pushing.
Yeah, it's taking quite a significant supply lead as well.
Yeah, but you got to wonder, like, a lot of it is to do with Hellions. Like, he's got an extra, like, 20 supply in Hellions. That ain't that's not too impressive.
Yeah, and he doesn't have, like, any medevacs to drop them as Hellbats either, right? So, that's a bit of a concern.
Yeah, it doesn't really have any space to do that. Like, you'd have that space against Bio, but when you're kind of racing out how many Vikings each other can get and take the air control for your tanks, there's no real time to do it.
Exactly. You don't have starport build time for that. You're not going to have free supply for it either once you get to that max, which we do see with all that huge Hellion production. INnoVation is fastly approaching. All right, some Hellbats being made here, or transformed.
Ooh, it's knocking out the racks, going to stop the factories from being made, though I think he's probably got enough at this point.
2 Vikings, or excuse me, 2 Ravens over here can definitely change the tide of battle if they actually decide to participate.
Well, looks like INnoVation going to be throwing away his air. Or actually, 2 more Vikings come up, and they are going to win the fight after all.
Can you check the energy on those 2 Ravens? I wonder why.
They didn't have enough.
Oh, okay.
They're like newly made Ravens, about 75 energy each.
Okay.
So, nice trade in the end of all things for INnoVation. Would have been a massive blunder, though, if there was at least 1 point defense rune.
Yeah, that was brave. But of course, you can click on the energy and see it. Well, this is going to be one of those games now that starts to last a bit longer. Sensor tower here in the middle of the map by INnoVation. I like that a lot. That's going to grant him even more vision, a little bit more control, and freedom to move. You see Corvid Reactor on the way. That's how you know this is going to be a late game TVT.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Going the distance flash, you know, just totaling up. Looks like INnoVation going to be trying to wrap around, maybe do some damage at that new 4th in the mineral line at least. Not tanks at the edge there, so he does have a little bit of room.
Scan goes down here. Not able to hit much, though. Gets rid of a turret. And, his Viking count not good enough now because those Ravens do have that energy. And he's going to end up losing quite a few of these, as well as air control.
Yeah, actually trading a little too long there. Has that map control, but he's just not finding much with it. So now he's going to start banking on a couple of extra orbitals. Get that mule count up so we can start throwing away SCVs and make that army even bigger.
Yeah, something we may end up seeing in the near future here is a fusion core, as we do see these 2 players doing the Cold War of starports. They're just trying to stockpiling that massive starport count for when it becomes important to be able to remax those Vikings very quickly, Ravens, what have you. They don't have a huge gas bank just yet, but as they do approach max, they're not going to be able to buy anything until they trade, and that's going to cause, of course, this gas to rise quite quickly. And INnoVation is starting to make this into more of like a hard contain. He's adding turrets next to his siege tanks even.
Well, it's definitely an advantage in INnoVation's favor because of this contain. It's going to force Flash to be the one making the moves, and he's going to be making the move into tanks. So it seems like INnoVation's always going to get the better trade so long as he's in position for it. And he has a few scans ready for the enemy tanks. I don't know if he's going to really have air control at this point because there's simply too many Ravens out from Flash. About 8 right now. About to be 10.
And there's 2 more pops out. So, yeah, it's just like so many Ravens, so many PDDs.
It's kind of interesting that he's had that many. He just really wants to secure air control. Even going to be using some Seeker missiles. Wow.
4 Seeker missiles get cast here. They'll eliminate all 3 of those tanks, as well as kill that SCV, it looks like. Looks like he's going to kill some of his own Hellbats here to get a better max.
I do like it, you know, especially just using them now. Like, the more you use the energy, the more cost efficient they become. So throw them out when you can, so long as you have enough left over for those point defense drones.
Okay, more Ravens on the way now for INnoVation.
INnoVation, you know, he's kind of out of position for this one, so tanks are coming up, but too little too late, and Seeker missiles could deal with this as well.
Yeah, it's going to cost him big.
Oh, wow.
You're exactly on the money, Moonblade. Look at this.
That is a lot of damage.
Tanks are expensive and hard to replace. It's very aggressive with this pushing. It's starting to become expensive.
I kind of get the impression maybe he's trying to throw away these tanks now that I think about it, because that was such a waste. But as I say that, we're still seeing more tanks being remade, so he kind of just wanted to apply pressure while he wrapped around looks like the back of the base with these tanks.
Yeah, if he got into this position earlier, could have done a lot for him. Don't want to go into that Hellbat funnel with those Hellions. He's got a good position here. There's no Banshees. He's going to have to rely on Seeker missiles again.
Yeah, but he can just keep relying on it, because he's already got air control, and he's not going to lose it anytime soon.
Yep, actually wipes those. That Thor is somewhat of a concern, and even actually leaking some Hellions around the back here. There's not many SCVs to kill, and this is a planetary, so he's going to end up losing a lot of Hellions here, but maybe he wants to get rid of them so he can have a better max.
I think it's probably a better right there at this point. Yeah. Going to try and get rid of this last siege tank. Not going to find it there.
5 SCV kills on top of all of that, but that's again freeing up more supply as both players have a ton of orbitals now to drop mules. The upgrades are significantly in INnoVation's favor. He's got his +3 out much faster, his +2 armor as well, way faster. So he's going to have to be at 3-2 first. And that means that sometimes when you have these little trades, these little battles, you know, he's going to have the better tanks, the better fights. But still, 14 Ravens to 4.
Yeah, there's going to be simply too many point defense drones at every fight. So the upgrades aren't actually going to have an effect any sort of battle in the future until he somehow deals with these Ravens. But, you know, he's catching up in a Viking supply. Currently, looks like he's only just behind now, only a couple of Vikings.
More Seeker Missiles to clear up some of these tanks. Actually, looks like even one more going to go down.
Wow.
And more factories being added, actually, for both players. So they're going to have all the production they need. Oh, we're going to see a big fight here.
Oh, cannot be hit by these Seeker missiles.
Just barely out of range.
And this is still not a fight that INnoVation wants to take. He's going to get a siege up there on top of these tanks.
He needs to drop more Seeker Missiles. I'm not sure if he has any. Okay, there they go, forcing this back. But he was fighting with his tanks in tank mode, so he couldn't actually continue pushing forward against the sieged up tanks of INnoVation.
Man, that is such a huge Viking count for Flash right now.
And these Ravens are just allowing him to just continually Seeker Missile these siege tanks. It's like Ravens are the new Banshee.
Essentially, right? You got that many. But he's got to be careful, you know, he cannot use too much energy if he's going to start trying to fight these Vikings. In a Viking battle, you need as many point defense turrets as you can get. INnoVation, though, just doesn't have enough.
Seeker Missile is usually not going to hit a Viking front because you're just going to move back. But, oh, wow, that was turrets killing Raven left and right.
Oh, got to be careful.
Oh, that was so scary, man.
That was really scary. He almost, if he had flown over that tank, he would have lost everything, and it would have been game.
Yeah, that would have cost him the entire game. Cannot lose your Vikings at this point. It's game ending.
Look at this. He's just constantly pushing him back. Flash, just ridiculous.
Well, it's working really well for him. Look at his bank. He's just been so much more cost efficient with these trades because he's trading energy for siege tanks.
Non-stop. And finally, INnoVation going to give some back. Whoa.
Tanks there.
That was a lot of tanks, actually. That was really nice.
Well, the bottom left is now starting to be taken by INnoVation. Scanning repeatedly both of these players, trying to see if the tanks are moving forward or not.
Wow, 18 Ravens Flash has right now.
Oh, those Vikings are getting close again. That stresses me out.
It stresses you out, but still.
Oh!
Constantly just zoning each other out with these Seekers.
He's got so many Ravens that like he's just constantly got missiles. He's never running out.
I'm loving finally we're seeing Thors being added for INnoVation because he's not going to be winning the air battle anytime soon. And the other sort of counter that you have, which is I guess more of a lighter counter, will be the Thors if you can get them up in number.
A few more of these Seeker Missiles queued up on some more INnoVation tanks. Even the turret going to take some damage here. Oh, look at that though. INnoVation with a very aggressive battle here. Took a Viking or two down. It's not a bad fight for him. Could drop some Seeker Missiles here as well. Looks like he's just going to back off instead. Flash is a lot more confident with his Ravens because he has more of them, so he can just simply be a lot braver with them.
He's essentially just, he knows how far ahead he is with the Ravens, and he's essentially immune to any sort of damage from these Vikings until his Ravens run out of energy. And you're not going to run out of energy with 20 Ravens. It's just not going to happen.
Whenever you run out with one, someone else has the energy. By the time that one runs out of energy, the Raven that didn't have energy's got its energy back. You're going to constantly have energy. +3 plating for both players on the way now. The last step of the mech upgrades because they're still combined currently in Heart of the Swarm. Oh, got to be careful.
Oh, nothing. Never mind. And yeah, just constantly getting rid of these tanks. You can just do this all game long, and it's so cost efficient, it's ridiculous. INnoVation just a little late to the party, just not making enough Ravens early enough.
Flash knew how this game was going to go from the beginning. It seemed like he planned for it very, very well. He's even able to avoid Seeker Missiles with siege tanks. That's a feat.
Yeah, look at the bank difference. It's just ridiculous.
Look at the units tab. He's like, this is all I need: 32 Vikings and 22 Ravens. I don't need anything else. I don't need Hellions. I don't need that. You got a few siege tanks. That's
about
all I
8
need.
tanks to help out, you know, so we can push back the turrets. But besides that, all you need, Ravens and dancing.
I love to see those Seeker Missiles just fall to the ground.
I love to see them hit Viking bolts, but we haven't had that yet.
Not going to happen yet. Still, the PDDs are active here for Flash. INnoVation has taken a bad engagement. Those PDDs are still active. They got nerfed, but not that hard.
Still a lot of them, yeah. So many Ravens still. Flash just keeps making them as well. Oh, from the tank.
Not even moving it back. And that Thor is getting a bit too close.
Oh, got a big hit on the Ravens there. Going to do a lot of damage to them.
Flash might even want to consider repairing some of these Ravens because they're starting to get a bit low, some of them.
Yeah, he should definitely do that.
It's scary, though, if you move those back to repair and they're out of position, you can lose a fight. So I think that might be one of his concerns. Might even want to just, okay, here comes the repair.
Yeah, INnoVation, he's kind of decided at this point, there's no way I'm ever going to win this air battle. I'm going to be trading out as much as I can with these Ravens, but...
Oh, that was... Oh, what a taunt there, man.
He's making a pretty impressive ground army. He's having a lot of tanks, he's got some Thors, and looks like he's going to be pushing forward now.
He's trying to break through here. And you know what? He's got a lot of siege tanks. Needs more PDDs than that, or rather, excuse me, more Seeker missiles than that.
Even landing the Vikings, INnoVation just wants to wipe everything out in the ground.
Suicide Raven attempt here. It's not going to work, though. He's going to lose every single one of them. But is the ground army strong enough? That's the question. Seeker missiles going down left and right. Look at the splits. Oh!
Wow.
Still a large ground army marching forward. This isn't over yet. Even Vikings have landed, and Flash just has to keep queuing up more and more Seeker missiles. Will it be enough? He's going to have to land his Vikings now. More Seeker missiles landing here as well, but I think Flash still has a better Viking count, even dropping auto turrets here now as well.
Yep, still has more than enough to wipe this out after all those Seeker missiles went down. The Vikings just cleaned everything up.
INnoVation just felt like that was his last chance, I guess, and went for it.
Well, he can remax. He does have a little bit of time because that army's not going to do too much if it tries to march on INnoVation's base already.
Yeah, especially because he's got a ton of siege tanks here. He's got even turrets to help out against the Ravens. He lost a lot of his Ravens, and those Ravens are low on energy and hit points.
I love that we're seeing 3 more Thors come out for INnoVation as well, because he knows there's no way that air army's coming back. No way he can even threaten that still. Just keep making the ground army, make enough Thors that you can deal with the Ravens, and just get that tank and hellback count up.
Yeah. Elian's actually coming in here trying to kill some mules. Sneaky tactic, but it's actually starting to pay off. Flash keeping his Vikings landed because he knows he has air control, and he's not going to lose it anytime soon.
It's going to be scary. Yeah, it's going to be scary if these Thors get some good shots off. Not many Ravens left over for Flash either. He's currently sitting at 15, down from the huge number he had before, which was sitting around 30.
He's got so much gas, and he is rebuilding them, though. And he needs to make sure that these SCVs are carefully repairing, because so many of these Ravens are in the red still.
Yeah, they could be one-shot by a Thor very easily.
Yeah, one Thor could kill like six Ravens in one shot. Look at this, even a turret might kill one. All right, 2 tanks going to fall here, it looks like. Meanwhile, this ground army is still pushing, and Flash doesn't have much of an answer for this. Looks like he's just going to try to fight this straight up.
Wow, going to straight up. He's going to be losing a lot of Vikings for this, but not too much defending this base.
These Vikings are very heavily upgraded, mind you. Some Seeker missiles slowing down this push as well.
Thor should be trying to get a shot off on these Ravens, but just not doing it.
So many auto turrets coming in as well here, and he's continuing this push. The question is, can Flash defend at home?
There's also a flank coming from behind with 3 Thors, 2 tanks. Make that 3 tanks. And I don't think Flash has realized just yet, just dealing with what's happening back at home. Oh, and every Raven is being going down.
Yeah.
The 3 Thors targeted them all down, so they're completely gone.
A great move there by INnoVation, and it might actually...
I think he holds. I think he loses his base, but overall he holds.
Yeah, he's just got too many Thors here. As long as he controls them well. He's also taking really good trades at Flash's base. Oh, this is still such a close game, man. It's really hard to say. Banshees are on the way here, as well as Cloak from these starports. I don't know if that's actually really going to be the answer here for INnoVation, because he still doesn't have air control.
It's so close at this point.
This is such a close game, but finally, Flash has regained control of his base, and he's continuing to push.
Yeah, he looks like he's... I guess they're pretty much even on bases right now, but just an awkward place for INnoVation.
And more Seeker missiles. Energy is always going to be so efficient in the late game when things get scrappy like this.
This is a very scrappy fight. All angles coming in. 2 Banshees as well, going to be dealing with tanks on the side.
What are we watching?
Oh, wow.
Those Banshees, though, very vulnerable. That's what I was saying. I'm not sure if this was the right choice, considering that he's got still air control, and Cloak, something that he was researching earlier, isn't going to be important with all these Ravens in the battle.
A little premature, I think.
Yeah.
Needs Thors out again, because Banshees from Flash are coming down, and there's no S for them.
Yeah. And Flash still has that huge gas bank, which is so much more important right now in this game, especially when he can just drop a ton of mules to get all the minerals he needs.
Very interesting factory positions for INnoVation.
Yeah, he just wanted to have faster rally points, I guess, which was important earlier on in this game. And I feel like Flash is eventually going to start whittling INnoVation down here. INnoVation doesn't have too many cards in his hand until these Thors pop out, and there are only a few that he's going to be able to get out. The Flash needs to actually micro better against him, because we saw last time he lost way too many Ravens.
Well, Flash is kind of on a timer as well, because he is down in bases. His economy isn't as strong. So he's got to start doing the damage right now before the army is being rebuilt for INnoVation in the main. Yeah, he didn't go for the production. He just went for the expansions.
Exactly. And he's killed some of these factories here. He has eaten into that a little bit, but again, these Hellions have done too much damage. You can see it in the worker count right now for Flash. He's at 24 harvesters. He's about to be at much less than that. I think these Hellions should kill every single last one of these SCVs at this base.
Yeah, he's going to be relying simply on mules at this point.
Yeah.
So Flash is actually in a bit of trouble, despite him dealing with this other base in the bottom left. It's a pretty sizable army for INnoVation.
Look at the indecision here as well. He almost sent his Ravens and Banshees back to defend with these Hellions. He has only 6 SCVs left. He can't even really mine gas anymore. His gas bank that he had was 2,000 like a minute ago. Now he's got nothing. He's got no gas left to his name. And with these Vikings that INnoVation continues to produce, he's taken the Viking lead. The only thing he has left to worry about is the Ravens. And with a few good Thor shots, he could definitely win that fight.
Yeah, not too many Ravens. 3 more on the way at a time. Currently sitting at about 11, soon to be 14.
And look at this massive mule dump over here. So much mineral income right now for INnoVation with all these orables he's still got left.
Yeah, looks like he's actually going to start moving out. Maybe try and deal with this army that Flash does have on the map. Got to be careful where he engages with so many Vikings currently for INnoVation. He's sitting at about 20.
To 10.
Yeah, 20 to 10.
Doubling the count.
It's a good advantage, but he's going to have to deal with point defense drones, which will still win Flash the fight.
Oh, these Vikings, or rather these Ravens out of position here. The Vikings getting some good shots on them. Only one missile collides, but it wasn't the best collision. The tank even lived. PDD is coming down. It looks like he's going to try to engage this.
Oh, he's going to get out. Cannot be taking big hits. And he does.
That was so close.
Sitting at about 9, 10 Ravens now. Lost a few.
If he just continues to do this, eventually those Ravens will run out of energy.
Oh, I would love to see INnoVation move towards the main now, considering everything's out of position right now. If he can get on top of the production, he might just win the game. That's straight out checkmate.
Really clever micro here by INnoVation, but now Flash is fighting outside of PDDs, and he does not have the count that he needs to actually fight this.
Oh, he's being forced to use auto turrets at this point.
He's out of energy.
He's out of energy.
He's out of luck, too, in this game. I don't think he can actually recover.
Down in supply, and now he's in a very vulnerable state. He might have to make a move back towards his main base to help deal with his production.
All right, Hellbat's here, going to try to help out.
Oh, still a bad fight up the ramp.
Yeah,
really bad fight
as well. Flash does have still those Banshees. Flash barely has any economy. He's making only Hellions right now. That's how bad his economy is. But, the economy of INnoVation isn't too much better off. He does have that base to the left side and the base to the right side. It's not like rolling in money. He needs to be careful with everything he's spending. And taking air control, I feel, is the most important part. And eliminating every single Raven is so important because Flash can't replace those right now. He just can't afford to replace those anymore.
Yeah, the addition of Thors just makes it so much easier as well to do so.
Yeah. A Thor fires with 4 shots, so really 4 PDD shots every time it fires. And obviously does a ton of splash damage as well.
Ton of splash, extra damage to Ravens and Banshees, so there's no reason not to. And looks like he's simply going to go up the ramp and try.
I don't know. He's going into a bunch of siege tanks here. That is also a planetary. Secret missiles get queued. He might just have enough. There's a lot of Hellbats still on the ground here.
I think it is. I think it's enough.
It's enough. The last of the Vikings start the ball here for Flash. He's repairing that planetary as siege tanks shell it from afar. Flash drops down to 61 supply. And he's got nowhere to run. This army's going to get shut down as well by some sieged up tanks. GG.
What a game. INnoVation. Bringing it back from death, man. He took so many losses from those Ravens towards that early part of the late game, but just his tech switches were just so well thought out. Going back into Vikings at a crucial time to winning that game.
His decision making at every turn, also how much he committed to the containing early on in that game, even trying to put up turrets and whatnot was really, really cool. I enjoyed that so much. That was the exact TBT game that you and I wanted, and we got it.
We got it indeed. And SKT, now they're up 2 games.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Life is who KTS rely on now against Classic, and that's not going to be an easy game.
That's going to be a tough one. Oh, man. Life's going to really have to pull something out.
If he's able to win it, if he can do it, Stats might be able to take that one. We might go to the ace match, but this is all on Life right now. So much pressure.
So much pressure. Yeah, I definitely think we could see it go to an ace match if Life can beat Classic. Hottest map, hottest player on this team as well currently. This guy is insane, especially in this matchup. He destroyed Y'all recently.
But, there's a lot of games for Life to study in that. You saw a game took place on Cactus Valley. If I'm not mistaken, the Cactus Valley game was only the Big Phoenix switch. where you just kill Bill with a bunch of Phoenixes. He's got stuff that you can study about some of the mistakes that Bill made, and also just how much commitment we've seen Classic go to Phoenixes. I think we're going to be seeing Life make a lot of Spore Crawlers early on.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Life's going to approach this. Maybe he'll want to be really aggressive. But the thing about Classic is he's so defensive in this matchup as well.
This is a huge map.
It's a huge map to be defensive on. Like, you have a lot of space. You can make that death ball in the late game that Zerg has a hard time dealing with currently. But I'm sure we'll get to talk a little bit more about that before we introduce the players.
No doubt. Well, this has already started out to be a pretty good day for SKT. Each game, pretty interesting, but 2 clean wins, I would say. You know, the second game was a bit tougher for INnoVation to win, but he was able to, at the very end, just dominate with better decision-making, better economy, and with that economy, he was able to make those switches that won him the game.
Fantastic game. That's one of the great games.
Yeah.
I love seeing mech versus mech like that, with these 2 players especially.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break before we go into that game, that last, possibly last game of this matchup, if Classic's able to take it. So we'll see you in just a few.